Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Build Your Best Life. You know, it's Thursday, so let's talk about it. We are ready to talk about it. Isn't that right, Anastasia?
Yes, it is. Let's have this chat. How are you, Miss Deborah?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am good. I am enjoying this daylight savings time. I don't know why we keep flopping back and forth in the first place, but I'm loving the longer evenings.
Yes, I wish they would just leave it alone. Yes. So thank everyone for everything that you do in support of Build Your Best Life. We appreciate your prayers, your likes, your shares, and your comments. So keep the sharing going, please. And tell all your friends about Build Your Best Life. Get them to turn their notifications so that they can make sure that they don't miss out on any of these discussions that we are having to assist our young men and encourage our single mothers with sons. That the information that we provide, we feel is very important for those individuals. So please share. And as well, please subscribe to my YouTube page because you never know what glitches may happen. We want to have multiple sources that you can reach us. So thank you again for tuning in. Now we have another great topic for you today. And I think it is very timely because the school year, I don't know where it all went, but we are on the downsides of it. School will be letting out in a couple months. And young men will either be doing a couple things. They are either going to take some time off. If they're going from middle school or high school or college, they may look for a part-time job. If they are completing college, of course, they will be looking for, hopefully, permanent employment if they're not going to be entrepreneurs. So I think it is a great time to talk about this topic that we have today, which is companies that care. Companies that care. Because I don't know if you know or not, but when you apply for a job now, employers, they don't only just interview you, but they go out on social media and they do research to find out what do you do in your spare time, what type of ethics you may have or whatever. And so many times you get a job and you're just happy to have that job. So you just, okay, I'm all in. However, we're going to give you some tips today to help you to see that it is just as important for you to look into the companies that you are applying with, because all companies are not the same. Right, Anastasia?
That is so true, Miss Deborah. And I know that my kids were hey, I'm out of school. I want to get a job. I don't care who it is. I don't care what they want me to do. I just need to make some money. Got to get my hair done. Got to get a car. Got to do this, do that. And we may be short sighted at that age and will just want something that will fill our immediate needs. And we're not thinking about long term. We're not thinking about career building. We're not thinking about the environment that we're committing ourselves to. Because, some jobs, they ask for contracts. They want you to work with them for a certain length of time. And if you're locked in, then you're locked in. And you may be locked into hell.
Right. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a real thing. And so I love the topic that you've chosen for us today. And one of the first things that we need to consider when we're even thinking about and considering our work environment as younger persons, or maybe even as an older person, I did not say old, even as an older person, if it is that you're thinking about a career change, maybe, then there are some things that you need to think about and consider. And one of those things would be, does this place provide good work life balance? Do they encourage a good work life balance? Now, before we get into that, I know it sounds like maybe a strange term or a new term for some people. And so the definition of it would be it's about consciously managing your time and energy to meet both your professional and personal commitments. You are prioritizing yourself with self-care, and you are prioritizing your well-being, your general well-being. So, what does that look like? How do we do that? The key elements of work-life balance are time management, they are prioritization, setting boundaries, and self-care. So with time management, you got to make sure that you're effectively allocating time for work, you're allocating time for personal activities, and more importantly, you're allocating time for rest. Your prioritization would be in identifying and focusing on the most important tasks and responsibilities. Don't forget, first things first. With setting boundaries, you are establishing clear limits between work and personal time to avoid work burnout and also procrastination. And with the self-care, we talk about it quite a bit on this page and through this channel because we want to make sure that you're doing it. But with the self-care, it's making time for activities that promote well-being, such as exercise, hobbies, and relaxation. So if your company, the company that you're applying to, values work-life balance, then you're going to see a certain set of things when you're talking to your interviewer. You're listening for a certain set of things. You can ask questions about offering flexible work arrangements. Is there a remote or hybrid option with this job? Do they allow flexible hours, like their starting day of the day and ending of the day? If it is that you have an appointment, you may have a medical appointment. You may have something at your child's school that you need to attend. Is your work environment going to be understanding of things that you have to do outside of their duties and a certain set of hours? Are they willing to compress your work week? That would be 4-day work weeks. Is that something that the company offers? These are things that you ask about if you're thinking about if they value work-life balance and also if they're offering flexible work arrangements. So another thing that you may want to ask the company about is, do they encourage time off? Now, I know that sounds weird. What company would really encourage time off? I know they're going to want you to have more time on because they're going to want you to work overtime or stay back a little bit to make sure the projects are done. But do they give a generous PTO, paid time off? And what's their vacation policies? We got to ask that. We got to ask about mental health days and wellness leaves. We've got to ask about encouraging employees to use their vacation days without guilt. If I've already planned that, okay, I need to take these 3 days off at about this time, are they the ones to be like, but then, that's the time when inventory just comes in. And so, they make you feel bad about having to leave or fulfilling other obligations. These are questions to ask and things to consider. So we looked at having flexible work hours. We looked at encouraging time off. Next thing, do they promote a healthy work culture? When we think about healthy, we think about our bodies. We know what is healthy food, foods that do us well and that help us to grow and be strong and all of that. Healthy work culture kind of does the same thing. It does. It helps our drive and willingness to do the work to grow. That's what grows. Your physical body isn't growing, but your drive and your willingness and your determination to do the work and be at work, that grows. And so in that area, we're looking at respect for boundaries. Do they ask you to answer emails after hours? Are they giving you a company phone just so that whenever it is they call, you have to answer? No excessive overtime or burnout culture. We touched on it. Encouraging breaks during the workday. Persons that have jobs that are not physically laborious, but they're mentally laborious, still need breaks. Does this job encourage those? Is the work culture healthy? And lastly, provide family-friendly benefits. Things like parental leave policies, maternity leave, paternity leave, adoption leave, funeral arrangements, and things like that. What is the job's policies regarding these things? Childcare assistance or partnerships with daycare services. It's not much of a thing here in the Bahamas, but I do know that there are companies in the United States and in other countries that have daycare services attached to the job. There is literally a care center on property so that that's not something that you have to worry about. And if that's something that is incredibly important to you, that is something that you have to think about and consider when you're looking for your job in the first place. What about support for the caregivers, like elderly care? Do they encourage that? What are the family-friendly benefits of being on this job? I know that was a lot to consider. I know. And guess what? We've got lots more for you to consider. Don't be Miss Deborah.
Yes, we do. And when you were talking, I was like thinking about it, and you were saying, like mental health days or whatever. People don't realize that's a thing. You need to be able to do that. But even, I was thinking at one point it was like on Sundays we were going to church all day, every day, and then working with children. It was like on Mondays I was like, oh my goodness. And I'm a person, I'm honest. I'm not gonna call in and say, oh, I'm sick, I can't come in. I call my boss and like, look, I'm tired. I am exhausted. And I think we had that kind of relationship, but I was like Sunday evening, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to come in tomorrow.
Mhm.
So you have to have, have those things worked out ahead of time, because a lot of times, you're on that interview and you may say, now I already have a trip planned for this date. And they'll say, oh, okay. And then you get there on the job, and like Anastasia said, you get that contract, you all locked in. It's time for that trip, and you say, but I told you about the trip when I was being interviewed. Well, that's inventory time. You have to be here. I'm sorry. And it's like, okay, what do you do at that point? Uh-oh. So that's why it is important to ask those questions, make it clear. Yeah. So the next one I'm going to talk about company initiatives. So these are things that are important when we work for these companies. A lot of times companies, they may be raking in top money. I mean, in the millions, billions. And if a company is not doing certain things, then they're all about that bottom line. And if they're not taking the time to spend, I would say, doing things for the community, you haven't seen that company's name out there. Chances are, if they're not interested in community initiatives, they're not going to be interested in employees' well-being either. So when I talk about community initiatives, there are so many things that a company can do to help their community. And let's face it, when they spend dollars helping communities to do things, that's all tax deductible. It is not hurting them at all. So they have to care. But there are so many things that companies can do to show that, hey, my name is big, but my heart is big as well. And we care about the surrounding area, our employees, and we want to do things that help our employees, because you never know. A person may have a job, but they may be the sole breadwinner and they make minimum wage. So they need extra help. And I know this is a Jacksonville thing, but I know that they have these type programs all over. But like Habajacks, where companies go in, maybe they will purchase the materials, get their employees to go out and build homes. Those affordable housing. So I know that's done all over. That really is helpful. They can invest money for water projects. Is the quality of the water that your employees, their families, your community is drinking, and it is not top notch? Invest in those projects. Help clean that water up. How about helping other families? People struggle year round. However, during holidays, when most families are celebrating, enjoying, families coming from far and near and spending that quality time together, having huge meals, special gifts or whatever, there are millions of families that cannot afford this. That company, again, tax deductible dollars, can go in and they can do things as a company They can allow their employees that time off to go and volunteer at those. Uh, you have homeless shelters and other places that provide holiday meals. Let your employees off to go and help serve those meals, to see how everyone lives. That is saying a lot for that company. You want to work for someone like that. At least I did, you know, to me, that means a lot. You look around at the company and they have money to keep their grounds clean. You always see nice flowers year round. You want to know, how do they get these beautiful flowers? I mean, year round. So if they can do that, they should want to ensure that the highways, the streets, the rivers, all of those are clean as well. Spend those dollars to help the city, the state clean up those areas. It looks good for you. There may be something that you want to do in the future, and it depends on people going to council meetings to vote yes or no whether or not you can do this. You may want to increase your space. You may want to put a special type building on your premises, like a gym or a medical facility, and you need those votes. They're going to remember when they needed you. Where were you? Were you there helping? So those things are important. Are you a company that provides workshops for your employees to attend? You may not have a human resources training and development department. If not, allow your employees to be able to go out and get those skills. You may have workshops on voter registration, a number of things. Do you offer your employees discounts? You have relationships with all different types of people. Within those relationships, this amusement park is something that our employees love. Is there a way to partner with you to provide discounts for our families? Those are some of the things that you want to look for when you look for an employer. You don't want to just go to work, because it's not all about the money that's coming in your hand, but you're going to need those benefits as well. So get that partnership.
Partnership is so important, Ms. Deborah. I know that you mentioned the tax deductible dollars, and I know that if there are any behaviors in the audience, they're not thinking along those lines. However, we cannot just sit back and wait for everything to be done for us. We cannot wait on the government to do it. We cannot wait on somebody else to step in and take care of what is ours. It's our communities, it's our kids, it's our streets. We can do what needs to be done. We can lend that helping hand. And even if the communities are not volunteering to do it, maybe all it takes is an ask.
Yeah.
As a member of the community, you may be a smaller business within that community that has maybe just 2,000 to put along on the project. But if you approach a bigger company that has 5,000, 8,000, much more, project gets done a lot quicker.
Right.
And with that, we can look at things like dignity and respect within the workplace. How can a company show you that they treat their employees with dignity and respect? Yes, typically that is something that you're going to end up finding out once you're there. It is. But what you can do in your onboarding process and in your interview process is still ask the questions. Maybe the employer hasn't considered things that you are able to present. First of all, you're going to make yourself look incredibly thoughtful, deep thinking, all of this stuff. You are going to increase your value with this company because they realize that you are an out of the box thinker and that you are a person that considers all sides. They may even consider you for management. But one of the things that we should look for is if the company treats their employees with dignity and respect. So how do we do that? Okay, let's try to find out about the company's fair and inclusive policies. Do they enforce a zero tolerance for discrimination, harassment, bullying? Ask them, what are your policies on these things? Are they providing equal opportunities for growth and development? Are they one of those companies that would prefer to hire from within? Or if a managerial position opens up, are they sending out that notice to external persons without considering the persons that they already have on their team? Those types of considerations are a part of having dignity and respect shown in the workplace. How about offering fair and competitive compensation and benefits? Yeah, I know. Sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. Respecting someone is valuing their time, also their energy, their effort. And so a part of valuing those things is offering fair and competitive compensation and benefits. So those are part of fair and inclusive policies. Okay. Let's look at open and transparent communication. Yeah, I know that's hard. That's definitely hard. But a company that has a lot of secrets is not a company that you want to be a part of. A company in which that you cannot ask questions, that's not a company that you want to be a part of. A company that's willing to lie to you as an employee, or that you see lying to other persons as a customer or potential customer, that's not a company that you want to be a part of. Because at some point they're going to ask you to compromise your integrity. And either you're turning a blind eye to the lie and the falsehoods, or you're taking part. And so let's go to open and transparent communication. Is the company encouraging employees to share their thoughts without a fear of retaliation? Without a fear of retaliation. Okay. Are they holding regular check-ins and feedback sessions? Employee satisfaction surveys are extremely important, and I firmly believe that. At any point in time that you are able to check in, even if it's not a full-on survey, and they see you in the halls and they see you in the break room and they're like, hey, how are you? And not just the, hey, how are you? You know the difference. When they're just saying, hey, how are you? Then the expectation is, everything's good. But when they sit and say, how are you? Then that's when a real response is expected. Clearly communicating company decisions and changes. That is a very big part of open and transparent communication. I didn't say honest. There's a difference between being transparent and being honest. An honest person tells you the truth when you've asked them a question. A transparent person tells you the truth before you ask a question. They're just going to tell you because they want you to know. And in what they're telling you the truth. So let's know the difference between being transparent and being honest. Third point would be recognition and appreciation. Now, I know this is a big thing, you know. Everybody loves getting gifts. In the Bahamas, we say tings. Everybody loves tings. And so, celebrating employee achievements and milestones, providing constructive feedback and acknowledging contributions, ensuring promotions and rewards are based on merit. These three things are what we can ask about and try to look for within a company. And lastly, safe and supportive work environment. Yes, we're still looking at how you can be treated with dignity and respect. A part of that is still working in a safe and supportive work environment. When you have one of those, you're asking about implementing policies that protect physical and psychological safety. You're asking about encouraging a culture of teamwork, respect, and collaboration. You're also asking about providing mental health support and wellness programs. So let's go back. Fair and inclusive policies, open and transparent communication, recognition and appreciation, safe and supportive work environments. All of these things are what we're looking for when we're looking for dignity and respect.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That, I mean, who doesn't want to be respected? You spend, when you have a job, you spend more time there than your waking hours than you do at home. So you don't want to be in a place where you have to be afraid of being transparent, of being who you are. If you're not being treated fairly, you should be able to speak up and say, hey, that's not right. And know that it's okay to do that, and you're not going to lose your job just because you're being transparent. So again, all this stuff is important. So I hope you are sharing, because I know we're going to have a lot of new people going to be working for the first time, all excited. I've been going to school for all these years, like, get on a job and work. Be careful. So I'm going to talk about our last one, and there are many more than the 4 that we are sharing today, but I'm going to share on our last one, which is what about comprehensive benefits? I know Anastasia hit on some of the benefits, but now we're going to get down to the real nitty gritty when we talk about these benefits. Now, often I'm going to put this caveat in there now. If you are working part-time or you're only working a certain number of hours, chances are you will not be eligible for all of these that I'm going to mention at this time. But as a full-time employee, if you're going to a company, you want to ensure that you are getting the benefits that most companies are proud to offer to their employees. Okay. And again, some of this stuff is tax deductible. So to not be fair to employees and share the wealth, that's not a good thing. And I think a happy employee makes someone that you can trust. You know, they're going to be in there to give you the best that they can give you and give you quality work. So it's a win-win. So search for a company that has a 401k. If you don't know what that is, back in the day, companies used to provide a retirement program or a pension program. Many companies shifted from those and began to offer a 401k where the employee can save their own tax-free dollars to save for the future. And this money is put into investment accounts that can grow. But with this 401k, most companies will match whatever you put in because you put in a percentage of whatever you want to give. So whatever your salary is, you can normally give anywhere from 1% when I was working in corporate America, that was a while back. I think the max was 10%. So it may be higher than that now. But let's just say companies will say, I will match 6%. So if you take your pay and you designate that you're going to save 6% of your before tax salary in an investment program, the company will match that. So if their match is 6% and you say, well, I'm going to do 10, you're going to do your 10 and they're going to match 6%. They're still only going to give you 6. They're not going to give you 10 because that's their max. But that is a great incentive for you to begin saving, and don't wait and say, well, I'm just 19, I'm just 20, I don't need to do that. Start doing that from day one. If you save in those 401k programs and those investments, and they're supposed to know the best stocks to invest your monies in, you can be a millionaire by the time you decide to retire. So it's important. Don't wait. And I don't want to get into that one, but that's a good one. Do they offer tuition reimbursement? If you go to college, a lot of companies will, if you make a certain grade, and I know my company, if you made a C or better, they would reimburse you for the money that you spent for your tuition. Win-win, all right? So what better time to attend? You can attend work full-time, because a lot of students can work full-time and go to school full-time. So if you're working for a company and they're paying for it, hey, win-win. That's another good one. Many companies will offer scholarship programs to their employees' minor children. So they might have to do an essay or meet certain criteria. But like the company that I used to work for, I think they have 4 or 5 different scholarships that they offered each year. So that's another great compensation that companies can provide. Family medical leave. Hey, not only can you get paid for if you're ill and you need to be off, but when you have to take maternity leave, if you have a spouse that's ill and you need to stay home, our child, and you need to stay home to take care of them, you are able to take family medical leave. And sometimes it may depend on how long you work for the company or whatever as to what percent of time you'll be able to be off. Some of them you have to use some of your PTO pay time off first. But let me tell you, that's an excellent benefit to have, to know that I work for this company, and if my child is sick, I don't have to worry about it. I can keep my job because they can't fire you for taking off for that, and you can get paid. You want to look for that. Comprehensive medical benefits. I want to say, and Anastasia can answer this a little bit better than I can, but I want to say that the medical benefits in the Bahamas are better than, might be free in the Bahamas, which in the United States, we have to pay for it. And the company will normally give you, pay a portion of that. So it might be, they'll pay 60% of whatever your monthly benefit is. Some companies pay 75%, some pay 100% if you get single coverage. They may pay another percent if you get family coverage. But as long as, and if you are in the United States, you can have a single policy and it can cost you $1,000 a month. So you want to work for a company that's going to pay at least 75% or 100% of that. That's a lot of money. So you want to look for that. Dental as well. You got to take care of the pearly whites. You want them to stay white. Vision care. Your hearing. Physical exams, yearly exams, you want all that to be included, because if you don't take care of this, you only have one. Hey, what can I say? So those things are very, very important. I think I mentioned earlier about workshops. All companies don't have a department within the company that gives workshops to help you to hone your skills, learn new skills. So if your company doesn't have anything internally, then they should want to invest in you going out externally and they paying those fees for you to learn skills, because the better you are, the more you can offer that company, right? Reimbursements for clubs or organizations that assist you, such as Toastmasters. A lot of companies will reimburse the full amount for you to take those type courses. Some will pay, may pay before you go, or you put in the money. You know, when, like for Toastmasters as an example, April and October are the months that you have to renew. So you know that's coming up. You know how much it is. You tell your employee, you fill out the paperwork ahead of time. So when that fee is actually due, you have those funds to pay it. So that's excellent, because you're learning leadership skills, communication skills, learning skills, and other paths that they have now. And you're doing it for free because your company is investing in you. That's called investing. That paid time off. That is a benefit. They used to, back in the day, they called it vacation time, but paid time off. You want that. Anastasia mentioned child care. Some companies have that child care facility on their property, and it might be free, it may be for a discounted price. That's something excellent to have. Some companies have gyms on premises, and they are either paying for that or paying a portion of that for you. Those are excellent benefits. I mentioned earlier about discounts to different companies, vendors. Like I know we used to get discounts at certain dry cleaners, certain restaurants, amusement parks. So all those things is part of your company. Wellness programs, not only waiting till you get ill and say, okay, we're going to let you have family medical leave or time off for illnesses, but to ensure that you're taking care of this body. So they have wellness programs. And and what that may encompass is once or twice a year, you go to these stations and they look at your whether or not you have hypertension, whether you are overweight or obese, all these type things. And then they have programs that you can go to where they'll teach you skills to help you get those things under control before they turn into chronic conditions. That is a win-win. That is excellent. And then employee assistance programs. Like we know since COVID, I think the mental health crises went up, those numbers went up. But the employee assistance programs have been around for a while, but sometimes they don't tell you about those programs. So these are programs, if something is going on, you're getting anxious, depressed, your child is going through something, the company doesn't even have to know about it. You have a dedicated number that you can just call, connect with in the area that you need to connect with. They cannot report what you talk about to your company, of course, unless it's like you postal and you can go take out the company. But for the most part, it's confidential. What your children talk about will be confidential for them, unless, again, it's something that is detrimental to them and the parent needs to know. So that is an excellent program. It's called the Employee Assistance Program here in the United States. But all these are benefits that companies can offer. So when you're looking for employment, you want to shop for a company that cares. So this is a type of company that you want to make sure that you look for.
That is awesome stuff, Miss Deborah. I do wish that we had a hotline here in the Bahamas where you will just call and be like, hey, I need to take a break. We do not have that. But in reference to your question about healthcare, we do have a system in place that allows for government-run clinics to provide certain services to persons without a charge, and to provide medications at a lower cost than if you go to a private pharmacy. And so those things have been very beneficial to many, many persons in our country. And so I'm definitely thankful for that. some of that other stuff, we can still use it. But hey, I'm thankful for what we do have. I will not be ungrateful. And so, as we wrap up today, I know that there was a lot that you would have gotten from the information given. And I don't know if this message was for you. I don't know if this was for your son, if this was for your nephew, if this was for your neighbor, whomever it was for, make sure that they get it. Make sure that it reaches them. There are many other ways that you can find Miss Deborah. There are many ways that you can find me. You see, we got the little symbols down at the bottom. You got Facebook, you got Twitter, you've got, not Twitter, you've got Facebook, you got Instagram. No, that is Twitter. Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Instagram is coming, I guess. And like, share, comment. Maybe you want to give us a little overview of an experience that you've had on your first job. Maybe you have some advice that you would like to give to someone that's coming out of school or going on that little summer break, but getting a job in the meantime. You may have advice for them, something that we did not mention. Go ahead and pop it into the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel. Leave a word of encouragement for those that are about to exit their high school years or about to exit their college and university years. They're coming out into the quote unquote real world. And so they're going to need all of the encouragement they can get.
All right. Thank you so much, Anastasia. I think this was some great information that our young men and our mothers and everyone can use. So as Anastasia stated, please share, because a lot of people don't know about things and they don't, expose themselves to a lot. But, if you can say, hey, I heard this and I think it's real beneficial. I think this will help. Hey, that's what it's all about. Helping. If you only help one person, that is a blessing. So please reach out and help others. And we hope to have more discussions on topics and things that matter to you. So again, when we're talking, if it's a topic that you've been thinking about, you want us to discuss it, and remember, we're here every Thursday, put it in the chat. We would love to share and talk about what's interesting to you, what you care about, because we are the company that cares. So thank you. And please tune in Tuesday, and that's March 25th for Blueprint for Success. Our guest on Tuesday is going to be none other than Coach Ricardo Miller. And the topic that we're going to be discussing is Burn the Rule Book. Burn the Rule Book. You don't want to miss it. And it's going to be hot. So please tune in. That's Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Central Time. And remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan. It's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. I hope to see you on Tuesday. Anastasia, take care. Love you. All right. Bye, everyone.